Good morning to you, Grenada Carrier, Cupid, Imaginic, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, the rest of the world. It's Good Morning Grenada for today. It's Wednesday. It's wetty Wednesday. Yeah, it's relatively wet this morning for some reason. We'll get that information from the Met Office during our newscast. Yeah, but it was raining, man. Thunder and lightning like crazy this morning. Dr. Francis Martin, good morning to you, bro. As always, thanks. Good morning, Hermione. How are you? Lydia Cameron, good morning. Mildred Smith, together with Shem, good morning to you. Zamora, good morning. Monica Mayrose Williams, good morning. Mary E. Banks, good morning. Yulin, how do you do? Michelle Bernard, good morning to you.
I give you the praises continually. Oh yeah, there's no other like you that could put
27 on to 7. He never fails, never ever. As the days go by, I learn to trust him more and more, yeah? You know, sometimes we get into ourselves and feel, oh, we're big and we're tough and we could carry ourselves. That's not how it works. At the end of it all, you bounce back and realize, hey, but I can't do this thing without him, you know. Joanna, good morning to you. Good morning, Marvin, Dominic, and family. Melvin and Melvin and the girls. Good morning, Yvette. And while up there, good morning, Pastor Laurie, Dominic, and family. Good morning, the congregation of the Western Hall New Testament Church of God. It's 26 minutes on to 7 o'clock. Good morning to all the busmen of the nation. Good morning. Miss Agista Pierre and family, good morning. How do you do? I almost call her name, but I know that'll land me in problem. I hush my mouth. Good morning to the world, man. It's a good day to be alive. It's a good day to have a good day. If you understand what I'm saying, yeah? It's a good day to have a good day. Yeah.
It's the day the Lord has made. So let us rejoice and be glad in it.
Sing along with this one, huh?
Hear my prayer. Hear my prayer.
Sharon Bartholomew, good morning.
Well,
Diane Thomas, Catherine Phillip, Sylvina Charles, how are you?
things just won't be the same. But
I'm certain each and every one of us would wish we could have done that, you know? Yeah, if we could only go back and, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
this is the
Let's head into the word of the day.
so let us rejoice and be glad in it.
And that word today, it's fractious. 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 Fractious.
Well, if I had a
And it simply means unruly, unwilling to comply.
life all over, things just won't be
There are some fractious children nowadays, huh?
for tomorrow. There is
And some adults too. And it peeves me when I see adults acting so fractiously. Yeah. Here's how we can use it in a sentence. The fractious behavior at meetings often lead to heated arguments and disruptions.
thank you for
Hey, just informing you this morning, I will be joined by the Minister of Health. We'll have a full hour discussion,
music.
chit chat, you know.
Oh, my
Let's hear what's happening health-wise in Grenada. How is he coping as the Minister of Health? Yeah. Is he healthy? I'm going to evaluate him, you know. I say, oh, come here, Minister of Health, and you're looking sicky and weaky. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to evaluate him. Morning, the Honorable.
With so much ups and downs,
Good morning to all the members of Parliament.
powers to turn this thing around.
On the government side and the opposition side, good morning. A whole lot of things are happening, man.
And yes, you are my
Nonetheless, it's time for me to say good morning to Nadisha and the folks inside of Cafe and surrounding areas. That's Nadisha's segment. She loves a motivational tip of the day.
merciful Father.
Good morning, Holmesy and Abigail. Louis, good morning. Hey, Louis, there are big things at Right Choice this weekend. It's Saturday. Birthday bash and everything.
Through your grace, my soul is fed.
The Sandersons, good morning. Nakita,
Oh, my child.
a.k.a. Baldhead, and her husband Ryan and the entire home circle. Good morning to mom and dad, the brothers and sisters. Debbie, good morning to you and the family. Kitty Cat, Ariel, Alwyn, good morning. In that vicinity, going up to Mama Can, Moyaki and family. Edson, Ajamo, Kingman, good morning.
My help comes from the Lord.
Good morning, good morning. And it says it always seems impossible. Yeah, sometimes there's a local proverb that says the eyes make work look hard.
So give my
You're looking at it and you're saying, I can't do this. I can't. It always seems impossible until you make up your mind and do it, until it is done.
to share this love.
Be a doer today, eh? Do it. Get it done.
No,
All right, Peck.
I want to do
Cruz, good morning to you and the madam and the family.
than to live.
Corey, good morning.
Play the music. Oh, my child.
Eggies and Chief, good morning. So we're heading now to the nutrition health tip of the day. Yeah. The folks at the Grenada Food and Nutrition Council, good morning.
Hear my prayer.
Follow these steps and you'll be fine. Drink lots of water.
This week's focus is alcohol, which when consumed excessively has been shown to contribute towards the development of cancers. According to Cancer.net, alcohol is classified by the International Agency for Research on Cancers as a Group 1 carcinogen. A carcinogen is any substance known to cause cancer. Carcinogens are classified in groups, and in Group 1, alcohol is placed along with other carcinogens such as asbestos, radiation, and tobacco, which are among the highest risk of cancer-causing agents in the human body. Alcohol can lead to oxidative stress in cells, which can lead to cell damage, which may increase the risk of cancer. Consuming alcohol regularly doesn't guarantee that you will develop cancer. However, this does make your risk of developing cancer higher compared to not drinking or consuming little alcohol. Excessive alcohol consumption is linked to several cancers, which include cancers of the head and neck, including the mouth, throat, and voice box, breast cancer, and gastrointestinal tract cancers, which include esophageal cancer, liver cancer, and colorectal cancer, melanoma or skin cancer, prostate, and pancreatic cancer. Alcohol consumption can also affect the body's ability to absorb nutrients such as folate and affects hormone production and body weight. It is advised to stay away from consuming alcohol completely, but if you wish to indulge, do so with moderation. For example, one should consume 1 to 2 servings for men and 1 serving for women of a standard alcoholic beverage such as 5 ounces of red wine and 12 ounces of beer or 1 ounce of liquor. Until next time, the Grenada Food and Nutrition Council reminds you to look, eat, and feel well.
Rolls ring a bell? Yes, they keep the body working.
This is the day that
Definitely.
made. So let us rejoice and be glad in it. Hear my prayer. Hear my prayer. Well, if I had another chance to start afresh again and live this life all over, things just wouldn't be the same. But since
Is there anyone out there who, can't identify with this song, You look back at life and you say, if I could have only gone back, yeah? But we can't.
thank you for another day. Oh, merciful Father, oh please hear my prayer.
Good morning to you, Wendy Williams, all the way in Carrico. How are you doing?
Thank you.
Yolan Swan, good morning.
Oh, merciful Father. Oh, yes, I'm still alive.
Mary Bowen, good morning. Good morning, Mr. Joseph. We're not getting you on channel 11, okay? My technical team will look into that. Lydia Cameron, good morning. Winsome Slocum. Winsome, I hope you ain't go back yet, you know. Yeah, I made all efforts to, all attempts to, for that we could have met over the weekend with Bunstein and so forth, but
It's filled with so much
health reasons, I just couldn't, you know what I'm saying?
powers to turn this thing around. Cause there is no miracle that my God can do. And yes, you are my savior, and I put my trust in you.
All right, the School for the Deaf, they've got the Deaf Awareness Education, Educational Inclusion Health. That's a theme, Deaf Awareness Educational Inclusion Health. The Walking for a Good Cause, there's a health walk coming up this Sunday, the 29th of September at 4 p.m. It starts at Greenbridge through St. George's and ends at Cameron Park. T-shirts are on sale, only $40. Contact them at 440-2242 or 406-8665. Or you can email them schoolforthedeaf, gda@gmail.com. That's a nice this. I like this.
Which made heaven and earth. I can tell the future.
Gigi Giles and Denzo, good morning to you. Sylvie and Daphne, good morning also. Hope you all are doing fine.
It's over. I'll try
Toot bagay mo.
once again.
What's buzzing this morning? Let's find out what's buzzing. Let's see what's buzzing here this morning. A whole lot of things are happening in the world today, man. Buzzing this morning. Grenada participates in the inaugural China, Latin America, and Caribbean Development Forum. In the region, Haiti urges international community to ensure that the country does not sink. Internationally, Biden struggles to contain conflict as Israel and Hezbollah on the brink of all-out war.
Hear my cry.
I told you so.
Hear my
And in sports, England women's captain given reprimand and suspended fine by Cricket Discipline Commission over 2012 blackface photo.
merciful Father, but strive to walk the walk. Yes. Oh,
You know, we'll have more details to this and more shortly in the local, regional, and international news segment that comes up shortly.
Father, thank you for my family.
Morning, King. You're doing a wonderful work. So says Kieran Lalji. Well, I try my best. And I let this King thing aside.
Oh,
Also.
just what the hold.
That's for the season. Annette Ragbasing. Good morning. Mr. Joseph GBN not on radio. Why not?
Oh, my
Folks, this is where we take the break. We've got the AM edition of News, Sports, and the Weather coming up right after this.
yeah.
As we get ready to give thanks, the long Thanksgiving weekend. Legends Promotions presents the 18th annual Hubbard's Legends in Concert, Saturday, October 26th, Grenada Trade Center at 7:30 p.m. Featuring the 1980 Calypso Monarch Survivor. Together with Stubbles. 10 times Calypso Monarch Scholar. Alongside Luta, Tobago Kuso, and 7 times Soca and 10 times Road March King. Super Blue. Super Blue. Tickets cost $16 and are available at all Gittins Healthcare Pharmacies, Wall Street, Grenville, and Guelph. Springs Shopping Center, St. David's Pharmacy, Clef Vision Eye Care Center, on the Carinage, and Gittins Pharmacy, St. George's. It's the 18th annual Hubbard's Legends in Concert, Saturday, October 26th, Thanksgiving weekend, Grenada Trade Center, 7:30 p.m. You can't afford to miss this one.
Grenada, get ready. A new season of the Grenada Debates is coming. Informative, impromptu, bright young minds sparking powerful ideas. Tune in.
GBN is your home for this year's Republic Bank CPL. Please note there will be adjustments to a programming lineup on Wednesday, September 25th. Transitions will air at 5:05 p.m., followed by GBN television news at 6 p.m. And don't miss the news repeat right after the CPL match. Transitions will also be rebroadcast after the news repeat, so you won't miss a thing. GBN, your trusted source for sports coverage anywhere and everywhere.
We'll give the best we've got. Hands up, right up.
This is the GBN Morning News for today, Wednesday, September 25th, 2024. Coming up in the news, Grenada participates in inaugural China, Latin America and Caribbean Development Forum. In the region, Haiti urges international community to ensure that the country does not sink. Internationally, Biden struggles to contain conflict as Israel and Hezbollah on the brink of all-out war. And in sports, England women's captain given reprimand and suspended fine by Cricket Discipline Commission over a 2012 blackface photo. We've got the details to these and more after these messages.
The Grenada Motor Club will be hosting its second and final international drag racing event for 2024 at Pearls International Speedway on September 28th and 29th. Expect the fastest set of drag cars and bikes the Caribbean has to offer. September 27th, meet and greet at Lavo Lanes. September 28th, test and tune bracket race qualifiers. And after drags, chill out at Sizzle Bar and Lounge. September 29th, drag race finals at Pearls International Speedway. There will be a special guest appearance by one of the Caribbean's top drag racers and a special drift performance by one of the Caribbean's top drifter. Mark the dates, September 28th and 29th at Pearls International Speedway is the place to be. You don't want to miss this one.
Looking to take your business to new heights? Advertise with GBN on our social media platforms and get noticed by our 138,000 plus followers. Reach a massive engaged audience ready to connect with your brand. No matter your business size, GBN is here to help you grow. Contact us today at admin@gbn.gd or WhatsApp 407-8458 to get started.
Good morning. With the details, I am Gordon Joseph. The Permanent Council of the Organization of American States, the OAS, will hold a protocolary meeting today in the Hall of Americas at the OAS headquarters in Washington, D.C. to receive Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell. The meeting will be broadcast live with interpretation in Spanish, English, French, and Portuguese on the OAS website and the OAS Facebook page. Grenada stands to benefit from the first China, Latin America, and Caribbean Development Forum, which was held in Beijing from September 12 to 14, 2024. Where representatives from Latin American countries and international organizations discussed key regional issues, which focused on enhancing cooperation through academic exchanges on trade, investment, innovation, and global governance. As outlined in the forum's modernization focus, Grenada benefited from a valuable exchange of knowledge as well as access to best practices and cutting-edge strategies that will bolster its efforts at sustainable development, enhance its efforts at climate adaptation, and advance green energy solutions. All of these will strengthen the country's efforts at climate resilience, energy security, and environmental protection. Minister Lennox Andrew, Minister for Economic Development, Planning, Agriculture and Lands, Forestry, Marine Resources and Cooperatives, represented Grenada at the forum. Jiao Zhang, President of the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, highlighted that this year marks a decade of China-Latin America partnership, emphasizing significant progress and new opportunities for collaboration. The Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, on Monday signed a technical cooperation agreement with the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, CPI or CEPI, which is aimed at improving regulatory harmonization and convergence in the region of the Americas, including the Caribbean. The primary goal of the agreement, signed in the margins of the 79th United Nations General Assembly, is to advance the work of the Pan American Network for Drug Regulatory Harmonization. PAHO said that through this agreement, SAPI will support its effort as the technical secretariat for the Pan American Network for Drug Regulatory Harmonization and in preparedness in countries. And finally, the government is issuing QR codes to support Carriacou and Pedimatnic parents in accessing school supplies and uniforms under the School Supplies and Uniform Assistance Program. The QR code is a digital solution used to facilitate cashless transactions. All parents with a child or children in primary, pre-primary, and or secondary schools are eligible to benefit from the program. Parents can now check their phones for the monetary value via QR codes, which are sent out in batches via text messages from the contact number 1-878-231-3486 or the email address support@wepaytoday.com. That's WIPAYTODAY.com. Once the QR code is received, parents should proceed to a vendor authorized by the Ministry of Education to obtain school uniform or uniforms and school supplies. The QR codes are valid until 31st of October 2024. That concludes the local segment of news. Stay with us. The regional roundup, international developments, along with the sports and the weather. They're straight ahead. It's 5 minutes on to 7 o'clock. We now join the Caribbean News Desk for this morning's edition of the Regional Roundup.
From the Caribbean News Desk, the morning edition. Good morning. I'm Kendall Morgan. From the Caribbean News Desk, the morning edition. Good morning. I'm Kendall Morgan.
And I'm Dennis Chabot with the latest from across the Caribbean.
In Jamaica, government legislators yesterday voted down an opposition motion seeking support for an investigation of Prime Minister Andrew Holness by the country's Financial Investigation Division. The motion by opposition member Julian Robinson was brought to a meeting of the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee. It follows the Integrity Commission's recent recommendation that certain matters arising from the Prime Minister's statutory declarations be referred to the Financial Investigation Division and the subsequent subsequent debate over whether that recommendation is lawful.
And I certainly believe it is in the interest of our country to have finality on a matter and not have the matter remain outstanding for it to be referred so that you can have a conclusion. And that is the basis on which the motion that I have moved today is, in my view, something which will bring closure to the matter one way or another in the interest of the declarant.
Meanwhile, in helping to vote down the motion, government member Pernell Charles Jr. questioned whether the matter amounted to malicious prosecution.
We have to ask ourselves whether this is not an abuse of process. Because even though procedures can be strong and effective and good, when those procedures are misused or manipulated for purposes other than that which they were intended, you have to ask yourself whether it's not an effort to harass or injure the declarant. And in this case, these are things which must be ventilated before this moves any further.
The Federal District Court of the Eastern District of New York has issued summonses for One Communications Guyana Inc. and its Tennessee Freightas known as Nikita in a copyright lawsuit. The case has been filed by singers Jackie Hanover, known as Jackie Jacks, and Ivan Harry, also known as The Ivan. The lawsuit filed on September 20, 2024 accuses One Communications and Nikita of infringing on their copyrights for the songs Guyana and Oh Guyana, issued during the company's rebranding ceremony on September 6. Hanover and Harry claim One Communications gained significant financial benefits from the infringement. One Communications, formerly known as GT&T, has acknowledged the $1.6 million lawsuit and is investigating the claims. The company expressed interest in resolving the matter but declined further comment on ongoing legal proceedings while reaffirming its support for Guyanese artists.
In Suriname, 3 illegal airstrips have been blown up in a remote interior district. The Public Prosecution Service says law enforcement agents have arrested 2 persons and are looking for several others. The Public Prosecution Service says it is committed to regularly targeting illegal airstrips linked to the transnational drug trade. Recently, Guyanese authorities found more than 4 tons of cocaine in pits near an illegal airstrip.
Law enforcement and industry experts are meeting in Curacao to tackle global intellectual property IP crime. Over 375 specialists from 65 countries are attending the 17th International Law Enforcement IP Crime Conference, addressing the rise of counterfeit goods linked to crimes like human trafficking and money laundering.
St. Lucia yesterday held an airport welcome home ceremony and motorcade for the country's first ever Olympic champion, Julian Alfred. Prime Minister Philip Pierre led the welcome home party for Alfred, who won St. Lucia's first ever medals at the recent Paris Olympics.
I'm really privileged and humbled to be the first to welcome 10.72 second Olympic Julian Alfred to the land of above St. Lucia. Welcome, 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 Mr. Alfred, welcome. Julian's recent achievements at the Olympic Games transcend sport. They have been a source of inspiration to all St. Lucians, especially our youth. That's through hard work, dedication, and self-belief we can be among the best in the world.
And Alfred says she wants to inspire the youth to follow in her footsteps.
I've dreamt of this day for such a long time, just being an inspiration to the youth of St. Lucia, wanting to give back and just wanting to, inspire them so we can have many more Leuven Spencers and many more Darren Samis and many more like myself. It didn't come easy. It was truly a rocky road. Many days I wanted to just give up, throw in the towel and just say I'm done. But my village, those persons who are around me, I just want to say thank you for just everything that you have done for me. I really appreciate it.
This has been the morning edition from the Caribbean News Desk. You may contact us by phone or WhatsApp at +592 700.
And looking further afield, Tropical Storm Helen is currently headed through the Yucatan Peninsula, bringing up to 12 inches of rain to the region of Mexico. On Wednesday morning, the weather front is expected to become a hurricane with the possibility of becoming a Category 3 major hurricane by the time it reaches the Florida Panhandle on Thursday. Meanwhile, at least 2 people died after weather system John slammed into Mexico's southern Pacific coast on Monday night, with the cyclone since downgraded to a tropical storm and expected to weaken further. Forecasters nevertheless warned of strong rains and flash floods inundating the coast for the next few days. Donald Trump dismissed early voting Monday as stupid, but nevertheless encouraged voters in Pennsylvania to cast ballots as soon as possible, as he vowed, if elected United States president, to repel a migrant invasion of the battleground state. If we win Pennsylvania, we win the whole thing. It's very simple, he said, of what is perhaps the biggest prize among the swing states, likely to determine whether Trump or Democrat Kamala Harris wins the White House on November 5. Trump reminded the crowd in the town of Indiana in western Pennsylvania that early voting in the state rolls out over the next few weeks. Meanwhile, U.S. President Joe Biden has spent nearly a year vowing his determination to prevent the war in Gaza engulfing the wider Middle East. On Tuesday, he repeated that resolve in his last ever national United Nations speech as president, as he addressed the fighting between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. A diplomatic solution is still possible. In fact, remains the only path to lasting security, Biden said. Full-scale war is not in anyone's interest, he added. But the Israel-Lebanon crisis is now on the brink. And Biden's calls for restraint from the podium in the UN, like his pleas for Israel and Hamas to finally reach a ceasefire and hostage release deal, are being heard in the hall, but not in the region. And finally, the U.S. has filed a lawsuit against Visa, accusing the financial giant of illegally stifling competition to maintain a monopoly over the debit card market. It said Visa had punished companies that wanted to use alternative payment networks and paid off potential competitors to keep its hold over the market. The Department of Justice said the moves had slowed innovation and led to significant additional fees for American consumers and businesses. Visa said the claims are meritless and it would defend itself in court. That's the regional roundup and international news. Stay with us. The sporting segment is straight ahead. Sporting fans, good morning. England women's captain Heather Knight has been reprimanded and handed a £1,000 suspended fine by the Cricket Discipline Commission for a photo of her in a blackface from 2012 deemed as racist and discriminatory conduct. The photo, taken by a third party at a Sports Stars themed fancy dress party at a cricket club in Kent in 2012, breached ECB Directive 3.3, which stated at the time, no such person may conduct himself or herself in a manner or do any act or omission which may be prejudicial to the interest of cricket or which may bring the game of cricket or any cricketer or group of cricketers into disrepute. Knight, who was 21 at the time, promptly accepted the charges, showed remorse and apologized for her conduct. It is accepted that Knight did not post the photo on social media platforms herself and has no power to delete the photo or control how it has been posted or might be posted in the future. And that's all the sports we have for you at this time. We'll have more sports in our luncheon edition. Stay tuned. The weather forecast is up next. All right, folks, for the latest weather forecast, we now join my good friend Finba Fank at the Met Office of the MBIA. Good morning, Finba.
Hey, good morning. Good morning to everyone. Locked on. It's a partly cloudy morning down here at the southernmost end of the state. The winds are calm. Pressure is lower than the mean, but it's rising at 12.0 millibars. Present temperature 27.7 degrees. Orange 90%. Maximum temperature here within last day went up to 33.0. Minimum temperature last night 25.7. Please note all temperatures at all times are in Celsius. In terms of rain here within the last day, we had 2.3. Hence for the month so far, total goes up to 71.2 millimeters of rain, but this is only for the airport. Now let's take a look at the forecast for the day and the nighttime. The weather expected to be partly cloudy to cloudy with a few showers during the day and a low chance of some thunder near midday. Maximum temperature should get up to near 32 degrees. Winds east, northeasterly to east, southeasterly at 8 to 18 miles per hour. Waves should get up to near 4 feet, hence seas will be slight to moderate. Tides are rising now, should be high this morning just about 9, and then low this afternoon near 2 o'clock. Sunset, 6 o'clock. Sunrise on Thursday, 5:56. Just to recap the forecast for the day and the nighttime. The weather expected to be partly cloudy to cloudy with a few showers in the daytime and a low chance of thunder near midday. That's it from the Met Office. I'm from my Frank.
Finba, just before you run off, quite a number of my members in the audience was asking me this morning about the lightnings and thunder that, on this morning. What was that all about?
Yeah, so there's a weak mid-level trough, so it will have passed through. And we had a little surge in the moisture field, so moist with some lifting, and that would have given the clouds the chance to grow and give the thunder that we got. But most of it is to the west of us now, so the chance of another cell or two on us during the course of the day is still high, and that is why the forecast has a low chance of thunder. So high chance of cloud growth, but it doesn't mean that you will get the thunder. So high chance of cloud growth, low chance of thunder.
Okay.
But it's not a tropical wave. So the next wave is still a little way out, but it should be crossing like within the next day and a half. So the bulk of it, let's say the worst of it, will have passed us during the early morning, and should be getting better from here on.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Finba. Have yourself a great day now.
Okay.
All right, folks. The weather forecast came to you with the kind compliments of Rennick and Thompson Company Limited. Ten minutes after 7 o'clock to end the news, a recap of the headlines. Grenada participates in inaugural China, Latin America and Caribbean Development Forum. In the region, Haiti urges international community to ensure that the country does not sink. Internationally, Biden struggles to contain conflict as Israel and Hezbollah on the brink of all-out war. And in sports, England women's captain given reprimand and suspended fine by Cricket Discipline Commission over a 2012 blackface photo. That has been the morning edition of news for today, Wednesday, September 25th, 2024. On behalf of the entire news department, I'm Gordon Joseph, thanking you for listening, wishing you a productive day, and extending the invitation to you to stick and stay with the network because we are with you anywhere and everywhere.
Spend $50 or more at any Hubbard's department or participating outlets for a chance to win free fuel, free drinks, free prizes, free property and vehicular insurance, free Hub TV and internet, free electricity, free coke, free water, free cooking gas, free paint supplies, free Dutch Lady milk, free passes to Sunshine promotion events for 2024, free groceries, all for one whole year, and every winner receives a free lunch package. But that's not all. Drive away in style in a brand new Isuzu D-Max. It sits, it doesn't guzzle. So fill out your entries and place them into the marked entry boxes. This promotion is brought to you in part by Dutch Lady, Danny, Promo, Supreme Bleach, Creative Chef, Grenlag, Floor, Salt Petroleum, Grenadian General Insurance Company Limited, Coca-Cola, Sunshine Promotion, Caribberies, Guap Bag, Sesame Spain, and Food Fear. Promotion runs from April 2nd to December 24. Terms and conditions apply.
Served Grenada for decades. We are the #1 and largest electrical supplier.
Hi, welcome to Sunny Electrical. How may I help?
We offer electrical wire accessories, tools, and appliances for all residential, commercial, and industrial applications, which is what we are known for. And we expanded our products with new innovative ways to modernize your home. New homeowners will be captivated in our lighting showrooms.
Some more pendant lights here. These are very multifunctional because they can work for kitchens, living rooms, bedrooms.
We have a wide selection of lighting, ranging from indoor to outdoor and solar. We are also available for site visit services to assist you with selecting the perfect light for your forever home. We are located at Dusty Highway in Grenada and St. George. Sudden Electrical. Best value, expert advice, quality products. We hope to see you soon.
It's the event you won't want to miss. GIDC Business Deals Day is happening on Saturday, October 12th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Frequenty Industrial Park playing field. Explore the latest products and service offerings from businesses within the industrial parks. Enjoy discounts on GIDC business support services and get fantastic deals on household items, building materials, accessories, condiments, and more, with exciting prizes up for grabs throughout the day. But that's not all. Dive into a mini health fair and career expo for valuable health education and employment opportunities, all while enjoying the sounds of Trio the Band and DJ Graphic Sounds. It will be a fun-filled day filled with eats, drinks, games, deals, and more. Mark your calendars and join the GIDC at Frequenty Industrial Park playing field on Saturday, October 12th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. See you there.
Are you looking for a reliable, affordable, and customer-friendly pharmacy? Look no further than Hills and Valley Pharmacy, the nation's leading healthcare products and services provider. We are committed to serving you at convenient locations. Find an extensive and affordable selection of prescription and over-the-counter drugs and medical supplies at Church Street, Hillsborough, Carriacou, Jubilee Street, Grenville, St. Andrew, near the bus terminal, and Halifax and Grenville Street, St. George. Our committed team is always available to offer valuable assistance for managing your health and wellness. Discover the additional benefits of our wholesale distribution on Halifax Street and our Medcare Center on Grenville Street, where we provide in-house physiotherapy, massage therapy, doctor consultations, and eye care services. Our commitment is to satisfy all your healthcare needs, including competitive prices, loyalty rewards, and special discounts for seniors. Contact us at 435-6904 and WhatsApp 535-4734. Choose Hills and Valley Pharmacy. Remember, your health is our business.
Looking to take your business to new heights? Advertise with GBN on our social media platforms and get noticed by our 138,000 plus followers. Reach a massive engaged audience ready to connect with your brand. No matter your business size, GBN is here to help you grow. Contact us today at admin@gbn.gd or WhatsApp 407-8458 to get started. GBN is your home for this year's Republic Bank CPL. Please note there will be adjustments to our programming lineup on Wednesday, September 25th. Transitions will air at 5:05 p.m., followed by GBN television news at 6 p.m. And don't miss the news repeat right after the CPL match. Transitions will also be rebroadcast after the news repeat, so you won't miss a thing. GBN, your trusted source for sports coverage anywhere and everywhere.
Good morning. Welcome to the conversation. It's 19 minutes gone past 7 o'clock. And as I told you earlier, I do have with me in the studio a distinguished gentleman. I'm speaking of none other than our Minister for Health and a number of other portfolios that come behind it, the Honorable Philip Telesford. Good morning, sir, and welcome.
Okay, good morning, Innocent.
Yes.
Good morning to GBN. Thank you so much. Good morning to Grenada and Grenadians in the diaspora and at home. It's a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to the discussion.
Well, of course. I mean, I'm so happy that finally a minister of government decided that they can make the early shift, because GT usually gets them after 9, because for some reason ministers usually either too busy in the office early or sleep late and can't come to the studio early. But I'm happy to have you. We don't have much time, so we'll get into the conversation as best as we can. And as I always say, I don't conduct pointed interviews. I ask the questions that I think the audience would want to ask. So we'll have a conversation.
Sure.
And before we get into the meat of it, I'd like to know, from your background, you getting into the Ministry of Health, what positioned you there? You know, do you have a medical background or anything like that?
Well, I think the Ministry of Health needed someone who would take a very deep look at things and systematically solve the problems that confront us. The Ministry of Health is very different to any other ministry in that it requires you first and foremost to understand the legislations, and there are quite a few of them that surrounds the ministry. So you must firstly understand the legislations. You must understand the system within which we operate, the standard operating procedures, and understand first and foremost healthcare in Grenada means the general hospital. But that is a culture that we have embraced in more recent years than not, because healthcare really should mean, first and foremost, primary healthcare. So we are at a position now within the Ministry of Health that we require a paradigm shift, if I might put it like that, in that there has to be a complete reset of things, the way we do business. And so I believe the Prime Minister, in his own deliberate judgment, recognized that, because he himself has taken a very personal interest in health. As a matter of fact, he has his personal advisor on matters of health. So this is something that is priority number one on the Prime Minister's agenda. And many times I've been pulled up by the Prime Minister because he is in a no-nonsense mood when it comes to issues surrounding health. And I tell you the truth, anything goes wrong, any news out there, I get a call from the Prime Minister regarding health issues. And that is how detailed he is when it comes to health matters. And so I come to government with leadership experience from the corporate world, and I believe that is what might have said to him that tell us for a try.
Okay.
And that's why I'm there in the ministry. So I'm actually a finance professional. I'm not a medical professional. But I must say, though, that it has been a sort of steep learning curve. I have been able to understand what we are confronted with, and I think we are ready to move forward. As a matter of fact, we have done quite a lot in terms of setting the platform for the Ministry of Health to do the transformative things.
Very interesting. Yeah. Sometimes that might just be the better approach. All right, not having that full background in health, but having a professional background in management and finance and so forth. It puts you in a very pivotal position, because you're not a doctor. You're not going to perform surgery and administering medication and so forth, but it's the management of the ministry that is key. And you have people who are subordinate that do what they have to do, and you just manage that. So that's a good approach. I like this. In your own way, how would you look at, or how would you term the health situation in Grenada today? Are you happy? Are you satisfied with the level of healthcare services that are available?
Right. So, well, I am not satisfied. There are quite a lot of things to be done. But if you ask me how I feel, there's some words I don't like to use, but I think that our healthcare professionals have done, and I use the word great, job, because they have made selfless sacrifices to assist in delivering top-class care to our citizens. And I am using these words very carefully. Now, Grenada is a resource-short country when it comes to facilities, equipment, technology, and human resources, and also medication. However, we have been able to stock up on medication. We've been able to get a lot of medical supplies. As a matter of fact, one of the challenges we have right now at central medical stores is actually space to hold supplies.
Okay.
But we have done a lot internally to reset health. The challenge that we face is that despite the best effort of our professionals within the health service, we've had some very strong criticisms coming towards our healthcare professionals. Now, I don't mind it if I am criticized, but let us face it. Our nurses are in great demand. The nurses in Grenada will stand head and shoulder above nurses in the developed countries, simply because they do from A to Z. They're not specialized in any, well, some of them are specialized indeed in some areas, but notwithstanding their specialization, they can do anything when called upon because of how they were trained, especially our seasoned nurses, and similarly our doctors. So they are well trained. Remember, these professionals hold international qualifications, just as any other doctor globally. So when it comes to experience, when it comes to training, when it comes to dedication to service and selfless sacrifice, they are unmatched. And that is the reality. So when we unfairly criticize our doctors and nurses and treat them as common criminals, and when I use these words, I'm using it against evidential proof that this is what
that the accusations actually came forth. Okay.
And so I'm saying, if we continue to treat our doctors and nurses like this, we would continue to have a deficit in human resources in our healthcare system. Our nurses, our doctors are in great demand. The developed world continue to attract our OECS nurses and doctors, and the Caribbean nurses and doctors, because of the knowledge and experience that they come with. Because we are able to work with very little resources, very little technology, very little equipment, but still work the magic of tremendous recovery. The latest statistics we have from our hospital is that there is a 96% recovery rate for people entering the hospital. 96, which means of every 100 person that visit the hospital for care, 96 walks out alive, and only a 4% death rate happens.
Okay.
Yeah?
That's commendable. Only yesterday, I had a conversation here, and it was sparked by a comment by a good friend of mine that in the agricultural sector, laborers are few. It's almost biblical. The harvest is ripe, but laborers are few. And a suggestion came that maybe we can invite regional persons to come in as supplement to the workforce. It was suggested that we can bring in the Haitians, just as we have Grenadians going on the picking the apple program in Canada and so forth. We can bring in the Haitians. I ask this question now on that backdrop. Do you think that in the not too distant future, because we see Barbados doing it already, Prime Minister Mia Mottley has been bringing in nurses from, I think it's Nigeria. Do you see Grenada heading in that direction of having to bring in healthcare professionals to supplement what we have here at the moment?
Well, in a sense, that is exactly the discussion that I'm having right now. As a matter of fact, I have 2 MOUs in draft to friendly governments, and hopefully within a reasonable time, we would be able to have other professionals from other countries join us. But the reality is that globally, there is a shortage of nurses and doctors. And that is why it is so important to cherish and respect those that we have and who have decided to remain at home and serve the people of Grenada. Because as they come, as they get qualified, and as they join our service, Sorry. Excuse me.
Yeah, I know the early morning stuff.
All right. Yeah, so so as they continue to get qualified and join our service, so too are they being attracted by the developed world. And so we continue to lose our nurses and doctors. And so the reality is, yes, we would have the MOUs, but what we don't want is to end up with our locals leaving and the foreigners coming in.
Yeah, so you have a foreign medical service system.
Right. So we have to find ways to keep our people here. And again, that is another body of work that is currently being undertaken, reviewing the modus operandi as far as our nurses and doctors are concerned. How are they being compensated, the working conditions, and all of these things. We are reviewing all of that because it is critically important that we develop an incentive package that befits that of our young professionals who wants to make a life for themselves.
Okay, that's a very critical point that you raised there, the fact of creating a more attractive incentive package, because I can tell you personally of a situation where I know two relatives who are in the nursing field. They both were given offers to travel. One stayed, one traveled. And you look at the livelihood, the difference, there's a great disparity in it. So I say this to say that those who prefer to stay, I think they should be treated properly for that. Because despite how lucrative it looks outside, there are those patriotic ones who are saying, no, I'm not leaving Grenada. My family is in Grenada. And if that is the sole reason why I'm going to stay, I'm going to stay. And not just their personal family, but Grenada on a whole. They're loyal to the Grenada cause. And sometimes the remuneration doesn't match.
Right. So, and yes. And you know what I've come to understand about our professionals here is not, and I'm not heaping unnecessary praise on them, but there are some stark realities, right? We have equipment shortage, technology shortage. We are not there when it comes to the working conditions for our professionals. And added to that, the pay is just not there, all right? So, and these professionals are being offered jobs. And these are the realities, and we have to face them as a people and understand where we are if we have to make the changes that we make. So, just yesterday, I met with nurses and doctors in the ICU unit as well as in the pediatric unit, because of course we've heard so much. And you know, it is being said that the Minister of Health, you know, is absent and all sorts of things. And I listen every single one of those shows, and they know that I listen. I pay attention because I don't feed on the negative, but it helps me to sort of relax sometimes, to laugh sometimes. But this is getting serious because we are painting a very negative picture for the Grenadian public, for our visitors who want to visit these shows, and it is hurting the image of Grenada. Grenada is moving up, and that is a reality. Despite the hurricanes, the hotels are doing well. The construction is happening. We actually, our contractors are complaining. You talk about labor shortage. We have had to consider a retraining for our construction workers, carpenters and masons, plumbers and so on, because we recognize that there is an acute shortage of skilled laborers in Grenada. And so we would have to sooner or later start giving permits to import labor because we have to move the country forward. So our government is not about the small talk. It's about getting things done. So we cannot allow ourselves to be saddled with all the negatives around us. So having met with the doctors yesterday, and I tell you the truth, doctors were literally in tears yesterday, just recounting some of the things that are written about them on Facebook and others. I shouldn't use Facebook, but social media. Just recounting some of these things that are being said. One of the ICU nurses reported, I have been threatened several times Now listen, if you understand what ICU is really, ICU, you hooked up to some machines, you get your medication, and there's little you can do except hope and pray for the patient.
That's where God comes in.
That's where God comes in.
That's the unit that God's work show up.
Right? And imagine an ICU unit. A nurse is talking about, I have been threatened.
Yeah.
You know, and that is the kind of things that they're faced with. I just want to say to you quickly that our doctors, they never give up on our patients, even when they recognize that they're about to take the last breath. They don't give up. They keep going and going and going. And I've been told that sometimes they don't even have time to drink some water or use the bathroom. And this is the reality. Our hospital doesn't turn away people. And so we have to understand, and by and large, we don't pay for healthcare in Grenada.
Yeah.
The government is shouldering most of it. So we have to really rethink some of the things we say. Now, we've had some situations with some infants. The doctors cannot defend themselves. They're sworn to confidentiality. So they can't come and tell you that a patient, that a mother or father brought a patient literally dead and handed it over to us to perform a miracle. They can tell you the condition of these children. They cannot tell you that the mothers who supposed to be lactating mothers are not following doctor's orders or taking the medication. They can tell you these things because they are sworn to confidentiality.
Yeah.
They have to be confidential with patient matters. They can actually lose their license over these things. So they can't defend themselves. But the onslaught, and it is being pushed when they say that the minister's in hiding and the minister, you cannot hear. Listen, I could be on social media 24/7, but I rather saddle my horse, focus on my work, and really get the transformative things going within the ministry. I cannot be up on my feet, running as a headless chicken and getting this job done together. The reality is I spend sleepless nights over the matters of health.
Okay. Well, a good gospel minister, Dale Bronner, he said in his early years he was a newspaper man where he delivered newspaper to every door, and ever so often small dogs would rush out at him, and he said, if I stop at every small dog to deal with it, then I wouldn't deliver my paper. So sometimes you have to, sometimes you just have to hush, you just have to hush. There's something that you raised earlier, because only last week someone called and said that they were at the Princess Alice Hospital, that's at Maribor, and they literally had to go in with their own medication or sent to get the required medication. But I know you just said that you are in a situation now where storage for medication is a problem. Is there any merit to that?
There will always be that case. There will always be that, because the government cannot keep, with all best intentions, an inventory of every single medication. And the doctors will tell you that. Those in procurement will tell you that. Because people come in with all sorts of different conditions. Drugs, sometimes you're using a drug on a patient, and it's not, that's the drug prescribed, but based on continuous use maybe, or whatever happened to the patient's body, the patient body becomes immune to the drug. And so there are so many different factors that can lead to a patient having to get medication that just to say that these things are going to happen. And I don't think that we should be kicking and screaming over things like that. If we are short of basic supplies at the ministry, at the hospital, and we out of medication that we're supposed to have, we take the blows, right? And those things should not be happening. But there are situations where the patient have to get a medication, simply put, and that is a harsh reality.
Okay. All right, folks, I'm speaking with the Honorable Philip Telesford, the Minister with Responsibility for Health, and we'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with the conversation. When we come back, we want to look at the that health insurance and also what progress is being made with that new hospital that is on the horizon. We take a quick break. We'll be back after these messages. Don't you go anywhere.
This holiday season, get ready for a magical celebration packed with culinary delights, crafts, and music that will bring joy to your heart. But that's not all. Lots of giveaways are waiting for you. Stay tuned and make this Christmas one to remember only with GBN. Looking to take your business to new heights? Advertise with GBN on our social media platforms and get noticed by our 138,000 plus followers. Reach a massive engaged audience ready to connect with your brand. No matter your business size, GBN is here to help you grow. Contact us today at admin@gbn.gd or WhatsApp 407-8458 to get started.
Welcome back, viewers and listeners, to the conversation, speaking with the Honorable Philip Telesford, the Minister with responsibility for health. Minister, during the break, someone sent me this piece of information, and I think it's important that you address that, because I want to make sure that you're covered. Okay? That member in the audience is claiming that the doctors and the nurses alone cannot run the hospital or the health sector.
Well, of course, and that person is so right. And I must say, though, the reason why I made that focus this morning, and I've already instructed my secretary to organize meetings, a series of meetings with those who serve at the hospital in particular. We visited the western side of the island already. But the orderlies, the engineers, biomedical people, those in the kitchen, laboratory, and there's so much that goes into making healthcare on the ward and in the emergency room and ICU and different places, operating theatre and all of that, a success. There is a lot that goes on behind the scene. Every machine that is readied for service is being readied by someone else, and there's always somebody in the engine room getting things done. Even those who monitor the power supply, right? And power supply is a critical thing, because the hospital cannot survive for any period of time without power. And just last week, we had the major changeover with one of the generators, and so that was a very critical thing, especially now that we've recognized some outages and so on. So there's so many people behind the scenes that work to make healthcare a success in Grenada. And the truth is that when the negatives are being spilled on social media and other medias, it actually affects every single one of them. I remember it must have been about a month or so ago that I was conducting a management meeting with my senior staff, and because of what was being said, a nurse sent a message to the matron saying that I don't feel like going to work anymore. I feel like quitting. And these are some of the things that confront us. But throughout even the maintenance workers and everybody within the system, those who are doing the medical records, and medical records is a major thing. As a matter of fact, the ministry just hired somebody to assist that, the technological side, the digitization of healthcare and digitization of medical records. Those things are critical. Right now, we have an acute shortage of space in medical records. Things are not orderly at all. And so we had to take an immediate or emergency response to actually hire somebody to reset what is going on with medical records. So it's quite a lot that goes into healthcare that makes it a success. And so I want to acknowledge the service of our men and women who have left their families to go to work on a daily basis to offer service. And when I say daily, I'm talking day and night, because healthcare in Grenada is a 24-hour business. Yeah. Our ambulance drivers and everybody. I mean, just think about it. Even the security is critical at the hospital and various centers around the country. All of our nurses, doctors, support staff, I want to pay utmost respect to them, because it is a selfless thing to be able to care for those who cannot care for themselves, the sick. And so I want to pay utmost respect to them, every single one of them, this morning for the contribution. And I want to say also, no one is perfect. Our healthcare, our system, we are not satisfied. We're working with what we have until we get to where we want to go. And there would be people within our system who, for one reason or the other, not comply with the protocols in place, may do things that are not consistent with what should be obtained in the circumstances. And those we will deal with. But as far, and I'm not talking about political victimization, because I think that's what everybody would want to say, but the reality is that people has to work together. We have to work together. We have to build our country. We have to improve healthcare in Grenada. Let's face it, I am going to get sick. As a matter of fact, I was sick for a couple of months this year, and as a result of that, I couldn't even move around, actually.
Okay.
And so we are going to get sick. We are going to die. These are realities of life. And what we set now for healthcare in Grenada is what we are going to have to deal with when our turn comes as patients at the hospital or at the clinic. We have put out a call for our retired nurses, those returning nationals and some of our returning nurses, to give some service back to us, whether it's voluntary or paid. We are putting out that call because we recognize that there's an acute shortage and there's some things that we need to do. We are about to open up the private block, for example. We need to get that going. We are resetting things at the emergency unit, and if we have to do that, we definitely need more nurses. So we're looking for some additional skill sets, people to come in and serve. So we put in that call out to our returning nationals who are still able to give some years or a year, or as the case may be, or even if they want to do it on a sort of on-call part-time basis. Okay. We put in all that call to them because we are looking in that direction. We've seen over the years more nurses leaving than joining the service.
While at this, any consideration being given to the revamping of the nursing school? There was a nursing school on the island.
That is seriously under consideration at this time. It's very serious under consideration. There are a number of projects. I just have to get the blessings. I'm actually putting pen to paper. I just sent one up to PM yesterday, so I can't speak about that yet. Okay. And within the coming weeks, another is going to be sent, because there's some things that has to be, and that's before it goes to cabinet, because I believe he has to give his blessing before, because it has to do about policy. Where do we take things from a policy perspective? And so there are a few things that has to be done, and the nursing school definitely is something under consideration. And we've seen some stuff happening around us, and we believe that we have to respond, right? And that is just basically where we are.
Time is elapsing on us. We might just have to overstep some time here, but I want to get some insight into, a lot of talk was in the rungs about the health insurance. I remembered having a series of interviews with a local but based outside, Mr. Ned, a few years back. That was under the previous administration about national health insurance and so forth. Any strides in that direction recently?
Yeah, well, Mr. Ned is still with us, still with the government.
Who happens to be a cousin, right?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. So he's working. He has done the policy recommendation, policy document, and the draft legislation towards NHI, and that is a critical component in the delivery of healthcare in Grenada. So we are presently reviewing that. The document is with the AG chambers, and we are looking at that. And as soon as that is ready, we will take the next steps towards implementation of national health insurance. And politically, they would say that this is another tax, but the truth is we need to set our business in order. Grenada needs to move to the next level. So it is not about another tax. It's not about making healthcare more costly. The reality is that people are dying for reasons that they should not die from. Why? Because, first and foremost, we as a nation, as a small island state, the resources are not there. And so we have to find a way to be able to get the equipment that is needed, invest in the right technology. We are too far behind as far as our investment in technology is concerned. We're supposed to be able to speak across the board as far as technology is concerned. If a patient shows up at our clinic in St. Patrick, he should be able to access the records from St. George, and vice versa. We should be able to speak directly with the local pharmacies. There should be some connectivity there so that there is no error in the transcription of medication. In the 21st century, we are still writing prescriptions in handwriting. And you cannot tell me that our pharmacists, because you're trained pharmacist, you've become a magician to be able to tell what the doctor is writing there all of a sudden. So there could be errors that is being made, and you will never know that those errors are being made. But I'm saying to us that we have to get to that stage where we invest in the right technology, invest in the right equipment, be able to attract professionals to come to serve in Grenada. And it's about time. We are a beautiful tourist destination. Very peaceful, very calm.
So some
wonderful.
emphasis should be placed on
medical tourism.
Yeah.
We have to monetize our healthcare system also by getting being able to serve people when they come to Grenada.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're running out of time, and I still want to give my listeners and audience out there the opportunity to speak with you, so we'll open the lines. But before we do that, I want us to quickly get some information as to what measure of progress has been made as it relates to the proposed new hospital facility.
Yeah, well, we have procured the land. We have we are in the I would say stage 2 of getting things done. The ideation of the facility is being done in terms of the 3D drawings and so on. Not I shouldn't say drawings, but I don't know the technical terms from an engineering side, but some of those things are being done. So we kind of having a mental view as to what it's going to look like. We're speaking to our international partners presently, aggressively too, reaching out to potential financiers, potential hospital designers and so on. So we've been reaching out and potential people who can do the management side of the work and all of that. So a lot is happening. We meet monthly on that. So it's something that is on the front burner, and we're moving very aggressively as far as that is concerned.
How soon do you propose the actual commencement of the physical structure would start?
Well, I don't think that I'm in a position to say that just yet. I know a lot, because building a hospital is not a simple thing, because you can build any building, but if it's not fit for purpose, you're in serious trouble. Right, okay. So especially a hospital. So a lot of groundwork is happening as we speak.
I ask this question because we're almost in the midterm of the midterm of your term, your administration's term. And do you see any problems? Let's assume that election comes and there's a change in administration. The continuity of that project, you think it would be a problem if there's an administration change?
Innocent Grenadians are not what we think they used to be back in the 80s and 90s. With the advent of the SGU, online learning, internet and all of that, people are much wiser. The average Grenadian that you meet on the street has at least an associate degree or first degree, master's, and it will shock you how many of our people are well educated and understand where Grenada should be. And Grenada is nowhere close to where it should be. Grenada is not going to go back to the past of all those rhetoric and those angry public addresses, those angry national addresses and so on. Grenada has to transform itself into the beacon of the OECS and the Caribbean. And we have the right leader in place and the right set of minds. Because that's what Grenada has hired, Grenada has hired a combination of skill set with the knowledge and the determination to transform our country. And so I don't believe that Grenada is going to go back. Grenada will march forward. Despite all the rhetoric, I mean, I know there's a lot of that, maybe about 8 to 9 different pieces of it happening on a daily basis, bombarding the airwaves and so on. But the rank and file of Grenada, the majority of Grenadians are busy on a daily basis, building their lives, starting new businesses, building their families, and thinking about how they can make better for themselves. So I don't think a lot of that is being listened to. And even if it's being listened to, I think we're wiser than that, and we are thinking forward and not going back.
Okay. All right, folks, it's now 3 minutes after 8 o'clock. We'll forego the BBC this morning. I want to invite you to call in. The minister will entertain a few of your questions. Let's go straight to the telephone line right away and say good morning, caller.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome to the program.
Good, thank you, and good morning to the minister. Good morning, sir.
Okay, you need to turn the volume of whatever you're listening to in the background down, either the radio or the TV, okay?
Thank you. Okay, are you hearing me now?
All right, yes, go ahead.
Okay, I said good morning to the minister.
Good morning, sir.
Right. I want to say that I'm satisfied with 90% of the things you say. I think you have been doing well in your statements to us. But in terms of the hospital, I would have preferred to see at this stage effort put into development of the different clinics that we have. For instance, the one in Guava and the one in Victoria and others to be upgraded to most of the things they talk about this meeting. In other words, one in one health center and you can get information from the other one. I would prefer to see those development instead of thinking of the new hospital now. I don't see much of money have been spent for the spot already, but I think we're way far from developing into a new hospital, and we need more of treatment, because to me, our treatment, and we don't blame I don't want to blame any doctor or nurses here. Things happen, but there are systems, things where the systems are not in place, and it causes things to get worse. Okay. So I think we way forward is to upgrade the clinics, what we call the mini health centers. I think that is what is more needed at this point in time.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, and thank you so much, caller. Yes, we didn't get around to actually speaking with that, so I'm so glad you raised that. So we have a project, or two projects as a matter of fact, a CDB project and an OECS project that is presently under consideration and will start, I presume, by the first quarter of 2025, which will involve the upgrading of all of those centers, all of the medical centers, the smarting of those facilities to prepare for eventualities like hurricanes, God forbid that we have more. But that and really lifting up and repairing and resetting those health facilities around the country, including the laboratory services, the accreditation of our lab, which is a very critical part of it, the Mongay Health Facility, St. David's, St. Patrick, the Guava facility, that all of them, we are going to be working on that. So there is a project, I think it was quite a few $1 million, that I think put together is a little over $20 million, both financial package.
Okay, we have another caller on the line. Caller, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you. How are you?
I am alive and thankful. How about you?
Oh, I'm blessed. Praise the Lord. My concern this morning is concerning the eye water. I will appreciate if the minister could think about it in relocating the eye water. The eye water is not in an appropriate place because the building inside is small and lots of people have to be standing outside on the step. And it's a real problem, you know.
Right.
So I would really like if you could look at that situation and relocate, because remember, most people that go to the eye ward is senior people, and when the drop is placed in your eye, you have to struggle to come back down that step. So please, Minister, think about it. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, caller.
Yeah, and that is a big one. We have had a couple of discussions on that, and I think we were not able to come up with an alternative location just yet, but it is something that confronts us. It is, I don't know how we ended up being there in the first place, but it's really not a suitable place for that, because a lot of people have to stand in the sun and, of course, find shelter when it rains. So it's really not suitable for that service. But our space is very, very limited as we speak. So we are still, this is a tough one because we've sort of searched the hospital, tried to see how, because it's a lot of people that come to the I1, what alternative we can find. But we'll continue. We will not relent on it. We'll find a solution. I'm sure we will. It's just that I think the first couple shots at it, we were not able to come up with an alternative.
Okay. All right, folks, remember the number you can call is 435-2041. Someone on WhatsApp said, Mr. Minister, over 1 year ago, I know there were some people trained and passed the course. However, up to now, they are still waiting. I don't know waiting on what, but let's take this call anyway. Good morning, caller. Welcome. Caller, you need to turn the volume of your radio or television down when you're calling the program. 435-2041, that's the number. Are you aware of what?
Yeah, I know what the person's talking about. The person's talking about the young pharmacists who have qualified through the TAMCC program. Now, again, I had to go through the law or the legislation to sort of appreciate what is happening here, and that was done. And further to that, I hired someone to conduct a study as to the current state of affairs of the Pharmacy Council, the exams that are being undertaken, and what is happening at the TAMCC and so on. That study has been completed and submitted to the ministry. The paper is going to be submitted to Cabinet soonest. But as it stands, the young pharmacists will hear from us in short order. This is something that is of great concern because we coming into office and met this vexing problem. And the truth is, these people have invested, young sons and daughters. They have invested in their education at TAMCC. And the council, rightly so or wrongly so, have implemented an examination that they had to take in order to get their pharmacy license or pharmacist license. Now, the council is an independent body. The minister doesn't control the council in that way. We allow the law to take its course, on one hand. But on the other hand, we must, as a government, formulate policies, amend legislations, and SROs and what have you to accommodate the smooth flow of things. So that is indeed a vexing problem for us. We are on the verge of resolving this matter. And so the young pharmacists will hear from us rather quickly.
All right, let's go back to the telephone line. Good morning, caller. Welcome.
Morning, sir.
Welcome to the program.
Yes, I really would like to speak to the minister about the situation that I have.
Well, the minister is here to answer any question that you have. If you don't want to ask the question here, then you'd have to find a way to get to him personally.
Well, yeah, I would like to talk to him on the program here now.
Okay, well, he's sitting. Ask your question. Go right ahead.
Hello?
Yes, go right ahead. Ask your question.
Okay, yes, sir. I want to find out about a situation that the Prime Minister spoke to a couple years ago concerning diabetics and amputated legs. The president of Cuba came here and he promised to give some medication, a medication they call Hoverprat. And he said he was going to make sure that Grenada gets some of this medication to help for diabetics that have getting amputated legs. But since then, I've never heard anything about that again. And I have already lost a leg, and the other leg is threatening right now to come out. And I tried to get the Hobart Pratt on my own from Cuba, and I just can't succeed in getting it. So I would like to know if you know about that, and I remember that the president said that he was going to donate some to Grenada, but nothing was done about it up to now.
Okay. All right, caller.
All right. Thank you, caller. Thanks for that question. You actually surprised me this morning because you actually know the drug and everything, and that is good. Now, we have been in conversation at the ministry level about getting the drug here. I think sometimes we move a little too slow. I think that's one of the challenges that we face. But we have already instructed our chief pharmacists to move speedily to get a drug in, but there is a process that has to be followed. There has to be a process. I had a conversation with CAFA last week regarding that, because there is the regional body that sanctions the entry of drugs in the OECS and in the Caribbean, and so that has not been completed. That process has not been completed, but we are working on it. I raised it with them last week. And so we are moving speedily towards that. And I think I would have a little more weight very soon as far as that drug is concerned. Now, the drug was offered to CARICOM countries a couple of years ago, and I think we just need to move on and at least complete the testing phase, because there is some measure of testing that has to happen, and we have to get the Cubans, they have to come in to actually demonstrate how the drug is to be applied. And so that is a process. It's not just getting the drug. You can't just get the drug and use it, because that in itself could create some serious problems. So they have to actually demonstrate how our local doctors here actually use the drug. But I want to assure the caller that we will move speedily on that. We've started the process. I think your call this morning kind of opens it up a lot, and so that gives me the energy to actually go back to our chief pharmacist now and say to her, we need to get busy on this because it's now more national than anything else.
All right, Chief Pharmacist, expect a call shortly, okay?
Yes.
All right, someone on WhatsApp is saying, good morning. I would like to take this opportunity to commend the Honorable Minister for his tremendous effort in improving the health sector. Despite the challenges faced, it is clear that significant progress is being made, and for that I express my gratitude. I also wish to acknowledge the nurses and doctors who continue to provide exceptional care, working tirelessly under difficult circumstances. Their dedication and commitment do not go unnoticed. Additionally, I would like to commend the security personnel at the hospital. Their welcoming and helpful demeanor creates a supportive and safe environment for all who visit. As the saying goes, Rome wasn't built in a day. With patience and continued effort, I believe we will see even more improvement in the future. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. So we're in the wrapping up phase, all right? I intended on giving you the full hour, and I'm doing just that. We started just about 20 minutes after 7 o'clock, and it's now approaching 18 minutes after 7. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. Welcome.
Good morning.
Welcome to the program.
Yes, I'm calling this morning to express to the minister what help are we providing to the men of Grenada in reference to prostate and prostate issues that is prevalent in the Caribbean. Grenada is no exception. What plans we have in place to assist the men of our nations with this tremendous problem we have currently experienced. I wait this answer. Thank you.
Thank you, caller.
This is a huge problem. It's a massive problem. And I really and truly want to commend you for the courage to speak about this. This problem is destroying our men silently. They're not speaking. And by the time they speak or seek medical help, it is too late. Men are walking around physically healthy, but dying quickly on the inside. And so we have to form a coalition of forces, including our wives, our girlfriends, or significant others, to partner in that struggle to fight this cancer. The problem is one of education more than anything else. And you will see in short order our education drive towards that. But it's something that we definitely is going to pick up in the coming year as part of our strategy to combat cancers on the whole, but in particular our male, because what has happened, and this is touching, because we are losing so many of our good soldiers, good citizens, to cancer, simply because, one, they fail to take action early. They fail to do the routine tests. Well, let me make this call this morning, that you do your tests annually. Do it on your birthday. I think that's the best time. Yeah. You do your driver's license, you do your medical test. I want to say this morning, because I believe I'm a father, I'm a believer, I'm a husband, I'm a brother, I'm an uncle.
You're also a son.
I'm also a son. Yeah.
You've forgotten that.
Yes, my mother is still alive. Yes. My father passed last year. I accidentally recognized on getting an insurance that my PSA was high. Very healthy, exercising, doing everything. I couldn't believe it. Took medication, expecting it to go down. It went up. My wife, not taking no for an answer, flew me out to get further tests, only to realize that I was coming down with the same disease. I told no one about it. and I believe I owe it to Grenada. It's not something I speak about.
Okay. I feel honored to talk about it on my program, man.
To Grenada. This is the first time I'm saying this publicly. The Prime Minister may be the only person in cabinet who knows this. To say that prostate cancer, which did not affect my brother, my brothers, or my father, stared me straight in the face in 2024. And that is why I had to seek immediate medical attention and surgery. First time in my life I had to be admitted to a hospital to seek any medical attention, because generally I've always been healthy. Everything normal except your PSA. I didn't even know what was PSA, to be honest. And that only came about because I was seeking a health insurance. I was dying quickly.
Unknowingly.
And healthy. And so I thank God for his miraculous healing. I was told that it would take me at least a year to recover. And in a few months, I can sit here comfortably this morning, unaided. Wow. And so and that is only because there was early detection. I have a good friend, stage 1. She did her test, PSA was high. She floored immediately, got her fix, and she's back. I had to undergo absolutely no therapy.
In terms of chemo
no therapy.
Okay.
My girlfriend that I'm speaking about, no therapy because of early detection. Now, if that did not happen early, I would have had to undergo therapy for years, more likely than not, or even die.
Yeah.
Cut my life short. So I'm saying that because there are a lot of young men like me who may be recognizing that you go to the toilet and things are not normal, but it doesn't bother you. Check your doctor. Check your doctor. It is not anything that may alarm you, but you never know what is happening on the inside.
It's good to be in the know.
And if you know what is happening, you can fix it.
Yeah.
If you don't know, it cannot be fixed.
One of the things I'd like to see happening is I'd like to see the ministry, through its PR department, be on a more aggressive educational drive, sensitizing men in particular, because men are usually more laid back in a number of issues, whether it's personal things that they're fighting, psychological and so forth, and health. I learned it the hard way, just like you. All right? And when I as a matter of fact, I was conducting a program similar to this, Your Health Made Simple. Mm-hmm. And when I brought my good friend, Dr. Francis Martin, to talk on prostate cancer, I said, but hold on. The following day, I went to another doctor friend of mine, Dr. Devon Francis, and I said, Globe, we talked together. So I said, you have to check me. I feel comfortable with you doing that. And he said, you're good. But I think men have to be more sensitized as to the importance of getting themselves checked more regularly and timely, because we're not superhuman. We like to walk around thinking that can't happen to me, where it might as already start happening, and you're not knowing because you're not paying keen attention to the signs and symptoms. Someone here is saying, good morning, King. The MP is a good man. He's an accountant. He's thorough and is doing well. Grenadians need to be smart and patient as he and the team work towards a solution for healthcare sector. Let's go back to the telephone line, and this is going to be our final call. Good morning, caller. Welcome.
Good morning. I'm calling back again to support the minister on his drive to educate men regards to prostate cancer and prostate issues. There's also other issues with prostate, and I would put my hand up to come and speak with him with him on that subject. He probably recognized my voice. If not, you probably recognize my voice too, Mr. Joseph. And I am willing to come and speak with other men about this issue because it's dear to my heart. I have family members who's gone through it. I am going through it. I have gone through it. And like him, I had the resource to leave Grenada to go and seek the medical attention that was not available in Grenada. And it's not just Grenada, it's the whole Caribbean, like I said before. So I am telling him, if he has a platform, if he has a meeting, if he has any educational things that somebody can come and speak about it firsthand of what they went through, I have my hands up, not just my hand, my hands up to come and support him. I leave you there.
Thank you, caller.
Yes, well, thank you so much. I didn't recognize the voice, I must admit, though. So if you can say a number, or Innocent, do you have his number?
I don't, but that can be
call the ministry.
Yeah.
You can get his number?
Yeah, that could be arranged.
Okay, all right, good. I need to get in touch with you because we do have to start a movement that will treat with the education of our men, not just prostate cancer. That is one of the problems that we have. Our people, our men in particular, they are not seeking medical care. We're not utilizing our healthcare facilities in our communities. We're not visiting our doctors, and it's only when this, as they say, water more than flour.
Yeah.
And you can't make the dumpling. That is when you visit the doctor, and we have to stop that. We have to get with the program, educate ourselves, and live longer and enjoy our lives.
The final point I'm going to raise in the form of a question here. Ever so often, and as I said earlier, I would ask the questions that the audience would want to ask. We hear of ministers and people who are, in inverted commas, able to afford, like the other gentleman that say he was able to fly out. You know, do you think that in the not too distant future, our healthcare system would be one of such that the average man would be able to access the similar kind of treatment and attention home in really, really rare cases, right? Because no man is an island. But in very rare cases, would really have to go out? Do you think our healthcare would be at such a level in the not too distant future, in our lifetime?
Okay, so what I will do, I will just repeat what I said to a closed-door meeting in my constituency at my branch last night. As long as I am retained as Minister for Health in Grenada, I will never stop. I will never relent until healthcare is fixed in Grenada.
Mr. Minister, thanks. On that note, we'll end right here. Except you had any parting words that you would like to say. I think that was an excellent note on which to start.
All right. So I just want to express sympathy to the parents who've lost their little ones, and to encourage our people to seek medical attention before it's too late. And that's including for our little children, our parents, our men or women. Seek medical attention early. Utilize the health facilities in your communities. First and foremost, they have the answer to your medical conditions. We overburden the general hospital. Everybody floods the hospital, and then they complain. Now, the emergency room is for emergencies, not for every illness. It's for emergency. So we encourage you to please make use of those centers. And the more use you make of the centers is the more impetus it gives to the government to upgrade the health facilities in your communities. All right? So we just want to encourage you to do that. And I want to wish everyone a very productive day. God's blessings upon the nation of Grenada and upon our healthcare professionals from at every strata, the maintenance workers, the cleaners, orderlies, drivers, you name it, nurses, doctors, and everyone that work within healthcare in Grenada, including our private healthcare providers, because they are integral part, and our pharmacists and everyone, they are an integral part in the completion of quality healthcare in Grenada. So I want to recognize your service to country and to implore you to continue to work diligently to lift the standard of service in Grenada, both private and public. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Minister Telesford, and I wish we can have more engagements like this in the future, ahead, the foreseeable future, and I look forward to another engagement. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Folks, I've been speaking with the Minister for Health, the Honorable Philip Telesford, and that's the conversation, an extended version of it thereof. We take a break. We'll get back with more after this. The music comes up next.